From Hollywood, California, welcome to Reza Rifts with your host, Keith Reza.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
I'm good, Keith. How you doing?
Doing good. Before we start, this might be a really dumb question, and I apologize, but your last name's Klock, right?
It is. It's just like a
Ah,
clock on a wall, just spelled with a K.
yeah. I feel like sometimes the K can be like very silent or very hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I get asked that question often, but that's just a regular clock on the wall.
All right, cool. All right. Hey, Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. We got a great guest via Zoom. Actor, you've seen him in The Whole Truth, True Detective, Green Book. Jim Klock is here over Zoom. Jim, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing wonderful. Glad to be here, man. How are you?
I'm actually doing fantastic. I like to think of like little victories in the day that make it a good day. Did you have any little victories?
Yeah, well, I love how you look at the little victories. I call them little miracles. I started doing this thing at the end of the night, end of the day. I try to look back through the day and thank God for all the miracles through the day. And some, just waking up's a miracle, driving safely. But I had a great day. I'm up for a couple of really great projects, and I really enjoyed reading and kind of preparing for a couple of these projects. I had a great dentist appointment, which is always good. Go see my
Oh
dentist.
my God.
I had lunch with one of my very first mentors ever. I got to go see her and have lunch. She helped me get into law enforcement when I was just a kid right out of high school, Donna, Wright, Sheldrick. So that was a victory just to get to spend time with her and say hello. And then I got to see my best friend for about an hour. So, man, a lot of victories today.
Yeah. It's interesting that because you started in law, like a lot of people don't know this, but when I was in college, I took a like a law enforcement class because I thought maybe a backup plan, which I probably should have stuck to because this whole acting comedy thing's not going my way right now. But my backup plan was like just to be like a detective or something, you know what I mean? And I that was my favorite class besides acting and script writing and stuff. So, I think like that people don't realize you actually have to go to school for that before you get into that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I first of all stick with it. I'll tell you this: even when we feel like things aren't going our way, I could just tell you, man. I tell people all the time. It's a great Harrison Ford quote. They asked Harrison Ford how he made it.
Yeah.
He said, I showed up to Hollywood on a bus. I was one of 50. 49 people left. You
That's a
know?
good, yeah.
And so, really stay encouraged, man, because this too shall pass, man. I mean, I've been in the seasons of up and down and all this, and, just keep grinding. But yes, I was a little bit opposite. I loved acting in high school, but I wasn't kind of in that clique, and I
Right.
didn't really have any direction of knowing that I could go to school for something like that. I grew up in the South, and so when I got out of high school, my favorite show at the time was NYPD Blue,
Oh, nice.
and so I fell in love with that show, and I had a real interest in law enforcement. So I was like, okay, I guess this is what I'm meant to do. And I was really blessed to have a great 10-year full-time career in that. But while I was doing that, I went back to college and started taking acting classes because I never kind of lost the bug for it.
Yeah.
And by the grace of God, things really for about 5 years I did both, as a policeman, and then I was just building my credits. And I was actually working as an undercover narcotics detective when I booked a role playing an undercover cop on The Wire.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that was right before I left and went to LA. But so it was kind of opposite. I didn't do it as a backup plan, but it shaped so much of my life, man. Like it just shaped
Yeah.
so much of my life. And going out to LA, I was 30 when I moved out and started pursuing acting and filmmaking full time. I already had 10 years of real life experience. I had a real career. I was able to do high-end protection work, dignitary protection work, which really allowed me to make good money and pursue the craft. So yeah, it's been a huge blessing in my life. I stay part time. I still volunteer and stay part time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You probably get asked this a lot, but you've done a lot of like roles where you're in the law enforcement and stuff. So like you kind of know that obviously from your career where it doesn't really take a lot of acting because you kind of know what to do on that. So like, do you think like that's kind of, I don't want to say like it stereotypes you as a character actor, but do you think like that's kind of like your lane?
No, I think it helped me dramatically when I first started, of
Yeah.
course, right? I think we all, even my first agent in LA said to me, I only had a couple of credits, but one of them was a cop on The Wire, right? And he literally looked at me and looked at my real resume. He goes, "Oh, you can work, bro." It's like, I'll get you working. And for the first couple of years, yeah, it was a low
Did I lose you, Jim?
guy,
Oh.
military guy, right? But I never looked at it as anything but a blessing. I really didn't. I was just like, I'm on set. I'm using a skill set I know. I rarely play them now. Like I play mostly bad guys and not
Yeah.
even dirty cops. Like I'm up for a dirty cop role now. That's probably the first dirty cop role I've even auditioned for in 10 years. Um, but
Explain to the folks what a dirty cop is.
so a cop who's a criminal, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
So a cop who's doing criminal behavior, he's either bribing, stealing. He's not doing what he is sworn to do. So
I thought a dirty cop was like a cop that has mud on him or something.
it could be. I've never played that guy, but I would. I would. I would. That would be fun because let me tell you, I have some stories about getting in foot chases in the rain where I was just soaked in mud from head to toe and didn't
Yeah.
have clothes to change into back then. So that would be a funny role. But I don't ever think of typecasting of anything, man. Like I love Sam Elliott. He's one of my favorites. I think he's a GOAT. And he says, and I'll never forget it, was early in my career, and I watched a video, and he said, "You're never going to confuse me for a chameleon,
Yeah.
but I'm always going to be honest."
Oh my gosh.
And I remember thinking to myself, and he's like, "And I'm the best Sam Elliott in the world." And I
Yeah.
said, "That's going to be me." And so I think when I play cops, I just enjoy using what I do know. I enjoy usually early in my career, what really helped was how I stood and walked. That's the
Really. The
yeah.
posture. Yeah.
Posture. I booked a show called Criminal Minds, the original Criminal Minds.
Oh, I love Criminal Minds.
Yes,
My one of my best friends, it was like the star of that. He was Matthew Gray Gobbler.
absolutely. He's
Yeah.
amazing, dude. He's
Yeah.
amazing. What a great actor. I actually did the episode where Luke Perry guest starred, and he played a cult leader. You remember?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I played the SWAT team leader that takes on the cult. Okay. And so I get the audition. So here's how it goes. It's like a Wednesday. One of my very good friends calls me. He has the audition. I don't have the audition yet. He says, "Hey man, can you come over and coach me on the SWAT movement?" I said, "Yeah." So I go over, I spend a couple hours with him, just all that. The next morning I get the audition. So I show up to the audition and he's like, "Oh man." And I'm like, you know what? Good luck, and all that. But when you walk in and you do that audition and you've lived it, you've been to SWAT school and you've done all these things, right? You're right. It's no acting. When I talk on my radio, it looks natural. When I move, it's natural. It's effortless, right? And I think the longer we do this and the longer you get and the more confident you get between action and cut, the more confident you get in preparation, your work starts to look effortless.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? So I think that's where I'm at now. But I love it. If you told me tomorrow I was going to go play a cop for the next 20 years on Boston Blue, I'm there. I love it.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to ask you because, like, me as an actor, I hate auditioning, but I know, like, if I get a role or whatever, I could do it because, like, my expertise is stand-up comedy, and I feel stand-up comedy is one of those things that it's the hardest thing in the world, and if you could master that, you could do anything. But I can't audition because, especially now through Zoom, it's like I want to be in front of people where I could read energy, and I wanted to ask you as an actor. I know you also direct and write and stuff, but as an actor, do you ever get nervous auditioning, or did you ever get nervous auditioning, or did you just be like, "Hey, I know how to do this because, of my police background," or like, you have to have some sort of anxiety when you do something like that, right?
Yeah. I think early in my career, it absolutely was normal to have a little bit of anxiety, right? The two things that really happened for me that I think were just God shining down. I was introduced to a great acting coach named Jack Plotnick. Jack Plotnick has over 100 credits himself. He's directed a movie for Sony. He's very successful. He just directed a very successful off-Broadway play. Wonderful human. And what was neat about Jack was he was the first working actor that was really coaching back in the day.
Right.
And he wasn't coaching from theory. He's in the fight. He's doing it with us, right? And what Jack taught me was how to go back to playing as a kid. What Jack did was he got me, all the anxiety comes from results. That's the truth. The anxiety for us as artists, you as a stand-up comic, an actor, doesn't matter. The anxiety comes from the fear or insecurity of results we're expecting, right? So the audition comes in and the anxiety comes, oh, I really need this job, or I need this, and Jack just got me back to being playful. And then I started really going back saying, hold on a second. When did this start making me anxious? Right. Well, started making me anxious when I looked at it as a job I have to get. Well, it's not a job I have to get. It's an opportunity for me to do what I love.
Right. Yeah.
And so the moment I said, I don't care about the results, like I literally, bro, I'm world class at cutting the rope and moving after an audition. I mean, I go on, I go. Same thing with a job, on to the next. I'm Bill Belichick. I'm on to Cincinnati. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're dating hot 24-year-olds.
No, I'm not dating hot 24-year-olds. But I really just think that the more you let go of results as an artist, right? The more you can prepare I'll say to you as a stand-up comic, the more fun you have preparing your material, the more light you are in preparation, the more freedom and childlike you are in preparation, most of the time you're carrying that to stage.
Yeah, for sure.
Healthy prep leads to healthy play. And that was the game changer. So no, I don't get nervous anymore. I look at auditions like, brother, just before we got on, I got one in today a couple of hours ago. It's 8 pages that needs to be done tonight. Quick turnaround.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And I'm telling you, I just sat here before this. I had so much fun prepping it. It's a wild role. It's a wild guy. And, when we get done in a little bit, my wife will get home. I'll go back in there. I'll shoot a couple of takes. I'll send it off. And then I'll forget about it and go have a great night's sleep and thank God for the miracles today, including getting to have this and talk to you.
Oh, well, thank you, man. I wanted to ask you, since you've also directed and stuff, like when you do self-tapes, do you look at your performance as the director, or like do you shift your mind, or do you how do you do that? Like, is it easier for you to do that?
It's a good question. It's a really good question. No, I don't direct myself at all. In fact, I don't look at acting, directing, producing, and writing, which I've been blessed to do all of those as well. They're a different part of my brain.
Yeah.
Directing is a little bit closer to it because I'm an actor and a director, and I love how to work with actors. When I'm acting, I literally am just preparing to the best of my ability with the information I have in the setting I'm in. And then when I go in there and before I hit action, right? Yeah. All I say is, all I want to do is surprise myself.
Oh,
and then I do a take, and whatever happens, happens. If I have a thought for an adjustment to myself, I'll do another one, and I'm done, and I move on. Yeah,
that's very like Robert De Niro type, or Robert Downey Jr. It's like that. That's very type of that, because where they had like one of them said that if they over prepared, the character's not real. So I only prepare 70% of the time, and then the 30% of the time is myself meeting this person.
Yeah, and I would probably say Robert Downey Jr. and Denzel have been Sam Elliott, those 3 guys there. But Robert Downey Jr., I absolutely love his work, and I love how he approaches it. And I'm a big improv guy.
Yeah.
And he said he approaches everything as an improv. That's what he's talking about as far as, or Tom Hanks has a great quote: show up on time, know your lines, and have ideas, right? Having the ideas is that 30% that Robert's talking about. It's the ability to be spontaneous, right?
Yeah.
So, for an example, so many young actors start and they make all these choices, right? And it's like it's a math problem. And I tell people I work with, we're not looking for answers. Look for ideas.
Oh, for
We're
sure.
surprised by ideas in the moment. And so Downey, for specifically, man, just that spontaneity and the confidence and the freedom, and he just does not look. And I'll tell you another quick. I worked with Woody Harrelson on True Detective, and this
Oh
is
yeah.
and I learned it from Woody. And I wish that even back then I didn't get it right away, but over time I kept thinking about it. Someone said to him, "Great take," and he said, "They're all great, baby." And I'm like, yeah, that's right. They're all great. Don't judge them. Don't judge your takes. You know if you're being honest. We know if we're, pushing or playing. And so for auditions, particularly, I think it's so much pressure. Actors put pressure to make a perfect take or a perfect take. There isn't. No one ever won an Oscar with one perfect take.
Yeah.
So why are we putting pressure? What you should do is be messy. What you should do between action and cut is be as honest as you can, behaving in no set of circumstances. Boom. And go live your life.
And I think a lot of people, like myself included, I think they don't realize that because, like you said, that Oscar, that took like 15, 20, who knows how much they shot, you know what I mean? And who knows if that was just the thing they cut and they made it like that. So like people don't realize that when they're auditioning, where like it's a real huge, it's a marathon, not a race. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah.
But even like talking to you, like you're naturally charismatic. I can just tell you're a nice person. I can tell you're easygoing. I can tell you're fun to probably hang out with. I can just tell. So if you put pressure on yourself between action and cut, you're going to lose that. You're going to lose
for sure.
that God-given natural thing that just you have. Even the way you're listening to me right now, right? That's you. And we lose that when we're trying too hard.
Oh, for sure. I did this movie where I was just like a last minute cast because some guy dropped in and I was friends with the writer or whatever. And I've been shitting on this movie for the past 2 years, but I saw it the other day, like at the movie theater, and it's amazing how editing can actually make a shitty movie actually good. So it's actually a really good movie now, right? And I just remember like I'm filming it and like I was remembering and I was like, this director hated me because I was just laughing because I thought this script is just so fucking ridiculous. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, this is ridiculous. This is the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen. I'm only doing this for a favor. And I remember the director hated me, but then at the movie, like I kind of felt bad because I made his life so much hell. But the movie actually was pretty good, and I kind of feel like as an actor, I wasn't mature enough for that to handle that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, look, and I think we've all been there too, man. I don't have a lot of regrets. I look back on early in my career where I'll say this, not knowing how to handle a situation, whether it's a little insecurity, whether it's something like that, right? I think we've all been there. The longer we stay in the game, the more you work. But I can tell you, I have grown so much as an actor because I produce, write, and direct. Yeah. You start to learn what every job is. You start to understand what every key department does. You start to see how every element of the foundation has to work. Man, you just become more grateful. And I'll tell you, I've never worked more in my life. I've never worked more in my life. I've never been better than I am today at all that I do. And I really do believe it's because I'm more grateful than ever. I have so many people who've helped me. So many people, casting directors, writers, actors, friends, so many people, man. And so the next time, and you're right, you go to a movie and it's maybe not the best writing, or maybe foundationally it's a little off or something like that. The side of us that wants to judge it versus the side of us that can find the gratitude. What can you be grateful in? I'm on set, man. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, I did a movie in April in New York. And it's a really good movie. It's coming out next year. It's Dennis Quaid, Jean Reno, me, a great cast, right?
I wanted to talk to you about that. The
Florist. Yeah. So we'll get to it in a second. On that movie, they called me in 4 days in a row to get to a scene, and we never got to the scene. Okay. Yeah. And every day, the second would come up to me and say, "Jim, I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "Don't you dare apologize to me, buddy." my name's on a call sheet. It's a good day.
Yeah.
Find the gratitude, and all the other mess gets really quiet.
Yeah.
I think you learn that over time.
Oh yeah, definitely. But like I was trying to say, I'm a stand-up comedian by trade. So if I don't like something, I'm gonna just try and make it funny and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's was kind of like the point I was trying to make. And it's also so weird because I write scripts and I used to teach screenwriting, and a lot of people don't know this because, like, for example, I know nothing really about the law like you, but I wrote a thriller about a kidnapping, and I remember I interviewed a police officer about like what are the protocols they would do and stuff, and I found out so much information about it, and I feel like a lot of people don't realize that when they're writing something or even acting something, like if you interview people in that trade, you could make yourself a better performer or artist, or.
Oh yeah, man. Absolutely. I think knowledge, especially in what we do, right? If I wanted to do stand-up comedy, I'd come hang out with you for weeks, and I don't, you know what I mean? Like I just would want to be around other comics. I'd go watch comedy, but I'd really want to be with someone writing. That's what I'd want to learn. Is what's the writing process like? You hear Joe Rogan, he writes an hour every day. What's that like? What are you writing?
Does he?
Yeah, that's what he says. He writes an hour every day in the morning. Well, I don't know. Maybe I just heard a clip. But yeah, so to your point, absolutely correct. Knowledge is unbelievable, especially in anything. But even as an actor, if you booked a role tomorrow playing a heart surgeon, right? Do I think you need to go become a heart surgeon? Of course not. Do you have to go read encyclopedias? No. But would I probably watch some documentaries? Yeah. Would I might listen to a podcast or two of a heart surgeon talking about it? Yeah. Because I want to absorb as much as I can that will surprise me on the day.
Yeah. Oh, so let's play a little improv thing. Like you're a casting director, and I'm reading for a heart surgeon. All right, I want to show you my skills. All right,
Okay.
my Dr. Pepper will be the heart.
Okay. All right.
It's a heart.
I see that.
Like that. Case
You
closed.
Booked it. I got call your agent. You booked it. You're my top choice.
Oh, thanks, man.
Send over your conflict.
But no, I wanted to ask you one more question about the law and stuff because you mentioned how like you've chased guys in the mud and stuff. In that moment, because like you have to do it because it's your job, but in the moment you don't know, hey, if this guy has a taser or something and you're chasing him, like did you ever think, oh my god, this mofo is too fast, I'm not going to catch him? Or like in a moment like that, what does the mind of you think?
Well, you revert back to your training. I was very blessed to have amazing training. I came up in an agency that was in the mid 90s that was way ahead of the curve for training, right? So in those situations, the more focused and calm you can stay, the more your ability to understand what's at stake, what's the threat level, where's my cover, where's my concealment, who else is in danger, right? So of course, when you're chasing somebody, like someone bails out of a car, or you get on a corner, someone runs. Yes, you're always looking at their hands. A lot of times you're seeing if they're throwing drugs or weapons or something like that. But I would say one time that really stood out to me was there was a guy who was a very violent offender, was in this neighborhood that I was working. And he, I won't bore you with the graphic details, but he had done some very horrific crimes in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a tip he was in this house. And when I went around the corner, he went out the back of the house and I took off chasing him. And so just outside of DC, you have the metro runs all through DC, right? So we're in Alexandria, Virginia, and we're running right along the metro. The day before, he had shot at somebody on the corner, so we knew he had a gun.
Right.
And he chased the street and he went running, And as I'm behind him, I'm running, and I think I see the 38 in his hand, but he's good 40 yards, 25, 35 yards ahead of me. And now we're running, and he's pretty fast too, right? And I'm pretty fast at the time. I'm in really good shape. So he's not getting too much far ahead of me, but I'm also not gaining on him all that much.
Right.
And I'm trying to identify, is it a gun, right? Because again, in my mind, I know he had a gun yesterday. Is my gun is my mind really seeing a gun, or am I just thinking he's, I can't, it's it's daytime, so it's not night. And then I look up and I realize he's running towards an elementary school, and I can hear kids playing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now I start thinking to myself, do I have to engage and shoot him now? Do I have to shoot him before he gets to this school? Because those kids now could be in danger. I don't want to get into a gun battle there. I don't want him to get there and take a hostage, right? So now imagine you're sprinting. And at this point, we've been sprinting probably a quarter mile, okay? So my heart rate's up, obviously. Thankfully, I'm in good shape. But because I'm processing and I'm looking at everything, I don't get so much tunnel vision. I don't hear. So I hear the kids. I know where I am. I'm talking on the radio, calling for units. I can hear sirens. I know backup's coming. And as I come up and as I go, and I'm thinking, okay, I got to take the shot. As we're getting closer, I got to take the shot. And I'm going to shoot him in the back. And a lot of people don't understand. They're like, oh, you can't shoot him in the back. And it's not true. If there's a threat to the public, if there's a threat to life, and I can stop that threat, then at certain times you are allowed to use deadly force. In if you have to do it, right? Like if it's between him and these children, and I know he's a violent felon and he's got a gun. You don't want to, obviously. And as I come out and I'm putting my sights on him, right as I go to pull the trigger, like I'm hearing the kid for probably 100 yards, and just as I'm going to like pull the trigger, he takes a hard left and he goes into an alley. All right? So he goes into the alley. Well, that stops the threat. He's not close to the school now. And as I come around the alley, he's not there, but I can hear him, so I know he's hiding. And then I'm able to get other units there. We got the canine, set the dog, and we got him, right?
Nice.
So happy ending to a good story. But there's so many different ways that could have gone if I was not able to, if I didn't have the great training I had, if I didn't have the understanding of my environment, and if I didn't have the ability to keep myself calm and keep my mind on what's the best decision here, what's the safest decision for everyone. Because that's usually when you get in trouble, is when that heart rate goes up and you stop making good decisions because you're scared or whatever the case is.
Wow. That's so fascinating. I'm so glad I did not stick to being a lawman.
It's a great career, man. I have so much respect for the young people doing it now. I think, we still have a long way to go. It's never going to be perfect, but I do think it's getting so much improved. I love the body cams. I love the use of the drones. I love where, the body cams I think they protect the police officer, but they also protect the public. And there's a thing now, because I was a big, big fan of treating people well. Like they used to call me officer friendly, right?
Oh, nice.
Because I just wasn't raised to treat people differently, right? And I think there's a real push now. You're seeing, even when I go into stores, people like this, I'm dressed like this. I go into stores and you just see officers say, hey, how you doing, man? What's going on? Like you're starting to see a little bit more community within engagement, I think. So I'm hopeful.
You're so right, and not just about like in this industry or the law industry, but I think just in life in general. Like I feel it takes more energy to be mean or be rude and stuff, and it's really not that much energy to be kind and stuff. So like I forgot who quoted this. So but I'm still going to share the quote, but I don't know who actually said it. But you should always wake up thinking, today I will commit one act of kindness, will you? And I think like that's a quote that really should, people should learn, because if there's more kindness and stuff, like I said, it's more energy just being mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite quotes ever: "In a world where you can be anything, choose kindness."
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm a big fan of that, and I think that I think the people, I know how I take being in law enforcement. I'm still blessed to be a part-timer. I work with the Stafford County Sheriff's Office. My best friend is the sheriff, and I teach at the academy a little bit, and I do special projects with him for charities and things like that. And the honor I have for the profession comes from the understanding of service.
Yeah.
You're in the service industry as a police officer. You're there to protect and serve. And I think that we're seeing law enforcement get better training. You're seeing improvements in a lot of areas. Still lots of improvements to be done, but I think we're trending in a really interesting way. And I love these young police officers out who are putting it on the line to protect everyone.
Yeah. Hey Jim, I want to respect your time. Do you have more time? Because I have like 7 more questions.
Yeah. I do. I have about another 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Uh, so I wanted to ask you about like father, like son with Dermot Mulroney, because I know Dermot. I interviewed Dermot, and I think he's one of the coolest, nicest dudes in the world. So what was it like acting beside him and stuff?
Dude, Dermot is just awesome, as you know, man. He's just awesome, and he had actually worked. So the lead of Like Father is a really good actor, a good buddy of mine named Dylan Flashner. And Dylan's the lead in Like Father. Well, the first thing Dylan had ever done was with Dermot, and they hadn't seen each other since. So his first acting role ever, Dermot played his dad, and then come in Like Father, Dermot's playing his dad again. But Dermot was just awesome, man. Like, he was there to play. It was like a playground. He was down for everything. He was easy. We were having good laughs about different movies we had done and different people we knew. We talked about his role on Righteous Gemstones, and he was all saying, like, yeah, I thought I was going to have this awesome role and come back, and I did one episode, they never brought me back. I'm like, what the hell did I do to you, Danny McBride? And I'm like, well, better than me. I never was on the show, Dermot. But no, just a great guy, and I really enjoyed my time with him, and we stay in touch a little bit on Instagram.
Oh yeah, he's great. He did this movie called Young Guns, and he was talking about how like, see, like I have Asperger's syndrome, so like when I watch movies I find like little things and stuff. So when I was interviewing him, I was like, Dermot, how many times did you spit in Young Guns? And it totally like blew him away, like he's never been asked that. He's like, I have no clue. Like the whole movie is just spitting.
That's true. Great movies, though. I hear they're making another one.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you about Red Letters, because you wrote and directed that, and you also starred in it. And you kind of touched base on this a little by the Zoom thing, but I think doing a movie is totally different. Is it hard directing yourself as an actor, or how do you have someone like an assistant direct your scenes and then you reread like the playback, or like how do you do that?
Yeah, no, and it's not really hard for me anymore now. I have a really, like, on Red Letters. I made that with family. I made that with people I'd been making movies with for a long time. And when you have your core group, uh, and you trust everyone's doing their job, I trust my preparation. Yeah, it's not really that difficult for me. I think the only time that it becomes, that movie was a micro low budget movie as well. So it was a really, I think we had cast and crew was like 10 people, right?
Yeah.
The bigger the movie as a director, you have more responsibilities and more people to manage. So that's where it can get a little bit tricky, right? Because if you have a 30-person crew, right, and you're shooting 7 people in a bar, and you're trying to also be the lead, and every key is coming up to ask you questions after takes, and you're trying to do, that's where you would probably really need a freaking amazing right hand to help. But the times I've directed myself as a lead, especially, these have been movies with they're a little bit more efficient. I have my crew, I have my guys and girls with me who I trust, and pretty much it's just a couple takes, move on, couple takes, move on, and we know we have it.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to ask you too, and this could be about other movies you've written and stuff, but like when you write a script, because as a writer myself, I'm very like anal about, hey, say what's on the page. But as an actor and a comedian, I'm very not so anal, where like I kind of want to play around with that. Like, do you kind of like have that like, okay, hey, we did this, but this wasn't the page, but let's do it this way, like in the spur of the moment? How do you do anything of that, or?
Yeah, it's a fine line, but I love spontaneity. And so for me, I love, we'll do it how it's written, and then let's play. Let's see what happens, right? But one thing I have learned after directing and working as much as I have now is I can tell the difference when an actor thinks they're a better writer versus when an actor is truly having an improv and thoughts are coming and they're just trying ideas. Does that make sense? Because sometimes insecurity can make people want to do rewrites.
Oh, for sure.
Insecurity can do it. And our job as a director with love is to give people the confidence to do what's written honestly in their, as they can. But then at the same time, let's create an environment. Well, yeah, let's do one for you now, one for me, one for you. Let's see, and we'll meet in the middle. I try to do that as much as I can.
And then I have three more questions. This question you don't really have to say a name or whatever because I don't like bad mouthing people on podcasts. But have you ever worked with like a big star that just kind of belittled you as an actor? And if so, how did you like recoup from that?
No, thank God. I've never had any of them do that. I've had some not really have any time for you.
Yeah.
which has been very rare, very rare. But most of the people I've worked with, I mean, especially, I can't tell you enough who, Jamie Lee Curtis, Joel Egerton, Keanu Reeves, Mark Wahlberg. I mean, these people understand. They know when you come to set, they understand the kind of the responsibility they have. Like Jamie Lee Curtis, brother, she is absolutely, give her every award in the world. You come to set, she creates an environment that everyone's welcome. Everyone's seen, everyone is cared about. And so really, I've never had anyone, I've heard stories about it. I've never had that happen. I've just had some be dismissive. And, you're just like, okay, great. I'm not, okay, fine. I wish it wasn't that way because I'm here to create. And like, I'm not trying to be best friends, but like, we're here for today. Let's make it the best it can be. And then now I get to the point where I just understand even some of that is just insecurities and introverts, right? There's a difference between an introvert who doesn't really want to engage than someone who's being mean and unkind.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Jamie Lee Curtis, she's that one person where I I could talk to anybody because, Jim, I don't mean to brag, but I'm a celebrity myself. So I have that celebrity card. So I'm really good at talking to celebrities, but I'm not good at talking to people. But Jamie Lee Curtis is the one person I would never want to talk to. Not anything against her, but just growing up, I used to be inappropriate to all her movies. So if I talked to her, I'm like, true lies. You know what I mean? Like I would never want to do that, you know?
The funny thing is she'd get a kick out of it.
Really? Holy Lord.
Oh, she is a hoot, man. She's just a hoot. We had so much fun on Scream Queens, and some of our improvs got into the episodes, and yeah, she's just I think she'd embrace it. I think she'd laugh at it and want to know more. She's married to Christopher Guest, one of the funniest humans ever to put anything together on film. So she's obviously a fan of good comedy.
All right. Well, if I ever interview her, I'm gonna say, "Hey, Jim Klock said I could tell you this story."
Yes.
Trading places.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. You do it. You do it. And you'll tell her. He said you're gonna laugh. She will.
All right, so two more questions, and these are fast answers. If you were an ice cream flavor like a Ben and Jerry's, Chunky Monkey or whatever, and you could name yourself, what type of ice cream would you be, and what would you name yourself?
I'd be a chocolate double peanut butter cookie and cream, and I'd call it the Clockorama.
Oh, that's a good one. Clockorama, yeah. And then the last question I always ask is if you could go to a time machine and talk to a younger version of yourself, it could be from yesterday, or it could be from when you were a kid, and you only had 30 seconds, what advice would you tell yourself?
I would go back and say, choose to find the gratitude. We make our worst decisions when we're angry. We make our best decisions when we're grateful.
Oh, nice.
So in everything now, find the gratitude. No matter what, find what you can be grateful for in that moment. Because I've made almost every mistake I've made in my adult life has came from anger or frustration or being let down. And if I just would have slowed down and said, hey, what about this is right? How grateful am I to be here? How grateful am I to have this situation? And how can I let gratitude lead me into it and through it? It would have made so many things better. So that's what I try to do now. But that's what I would tell my younger self.
I'm so glad you said that because for some reason I thought you were going to say, "Hey Jim, this is Jim Klock from 2025. How are you? Hey, if Keith Reza asks you to do his podcast, say no."
No, I wouldn't say that. We did an
Uh,
improv. I hired you as a heart surgeon. We're making progress, man.
Oh, okay, excellent. All right, well, Jim, where can the folks at home follow and support you? We didn't get to talk about the Florist, but hopefully when it comes out, you'll be willing to do this again.
Of course, man. Let's do it again for sure. I got the Florist coming out, and I got a cool shark movie coming out this year called Chum. We should
Oh,
definitely.
cool.
They should be out about the same time, so maybe we'll jump back on a call and talk about those when they come out.
I'll ask Wendy. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah. But at Jim D Clock on Instagram, follow me there.
All right, Jim. All right. Well, thank you so much for doing my podcast. And, thank you for giving me another victory today. I really appreciate that.
Hey, brother, this was a lot of fun, man. God bless you. Keep at the work, too. You're a funny dude, man. Let's hang out and talk soon.
All right, buddy.
All right, buddy.
All right, Rifters. That was the show. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend, and we'll see you guys next week on Reza Rifts Big Music Q.